I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is FTB Skies 2. Oh man, nothing like the fresh smell of a FTB skyblock in the morning. Oh man, the air just feels breezy, and I'm starting to smell resources on its way. And that's because today we should hopefully be able to get started with actual resource production, producing things like iron, gold, and many other things, redstone included. Episode, we ended up working towards a cobblestone generator, so we went through all of the basics, including getting ourselves a bonsai pot that has the ability to farm up all of the sapling variants and all of the resources from a sapling. And we also got ourselves lava production. We have access to our buckets to be able to move water around, so we've got kind of a basic start. But today is really going to ramp up because we get to choose a path in our getting started section. And there's a couple of things that we could do. There's a couple of choices that we get to make life easier depending on which path we want to ultimately go down. Now, you can go down all three of these paths for resource generation, and it might be best to also do all of them at some point. But I think there are some that are a little bit better than others, and I'm going to have to go with geores being, in my opinion, one of the coolest and probably fastest ways to get started. However, keep in mind that all of them are available, and we will ultimately be doing all of them, I'm sure, as we continue on. So what makes the pathing different? Well, you get one choice of a helper to help you kind of get started in those paths. For example, if you choose the crystal boosting, you actually get a way to have this passively start automatically generating crystals. And that is from like a crystal resonant generator and a growth accelerator, which is very handy, not only for crystals, but for other things as well. The growth accelerator should even be able to grow mystical agriculture crops, technically, which is very handy. But if you go the create route, which is the sifting, well, then you can use this, which is a stress relief. It's just a windmill that provides you with some stress right off the bat. I would say that's kind of meh. It's really easy to get water wheels set up, so definitely don't want that. And then the next one is a harvester pylon with some really expensive inferium growth accelerators, but this is still going to take some time. However, this is a really nice fishing rod that you get for doing this. But I don't know. I think at the end of the day, it really seems like this one is the best. You also get a Fortune 3 pickaxe that allows you to harvest these quicker and gather more. So how do we get started with the geore? And I mean, ultimately we want to try to do all of them, but how do we get started with this geore? Well, we're going to need the void crystal, which we add grains of infinity to cobblestone to get. And then it tells us that we need to use a dye on this void crystal. And I think there's a page that shows you right here how and what dyes you need to be able to get all of the different types of geores. Like for example, to be able to get coal, we need black dye. To be able to get redstone, we need red dye. And then we also have yellow to be able to get gold. And then iron, I mean, iron is just simply white dye from bone meal. So you know what? It looks like geores is going to be the way to go, at least for right now. Now, if you didn't catch from last episode how to get grains of infinity, well, you just need to jump off the edge a few times, right? And you can get yourself some grains of infinity. Something else that you could do is you can also take a water column down all the way to like -35 or so. And yeah, you can just kind of AFK there, I guess, hang out. That seems really boring, but that is something you can do. But right now, anytime I need any grains of infinity, I'm probably just going to hop off the edge. It doesn't even seem like you take a whole lot of damage whenever you land, so kind of worth. So we just need to take this, and with our cobblestone, we can go ahead and we can combine this to get a few of these void crystals. Now, before I turn this into any particular type of geore, we have to think about this in the terms of an amethyst crystal, because essentially that's what this is. It's a block of amethyst. And so I need to format this in a way that we know that we can get buds and optimize this to get them to grow in all directions. So let's just imagine that this right here is the growth accelerator, and we have a bud place here, 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 and here. And we also could have one maybe placed on the top as well. All of these are going to grow, and we want access to the bottom. So this does make a lot of sense, having like our first geore be right here, for example. So we can place the void crystal down, and we can go ahead and turn this into the one we need, and we have to have this to be able to unlock that section, because once you complete one of these, it actually allows you to choose the little helper boost which is going to be super nice to get. So now I just need to take my white dye and right click this, and voila, we now have iron buds. Now, something else you can also do is you can twerk to grow these, apparently. As you can see, that does help grow it. But yeah, I would still prefer to have this, which is a growth accelerator. And man, is this going to make life so much easier. Now, if you don't know how a growth accelerator works, let me kind of explain this. So if we place the growth accelerator like so, we can power this growth accelerator from the bottom, I do believe. And if I grab myself a trap door, it might make it a little easier to place this down. But I can't remember if what direction it faces. Like, what is it? I really don't remember. I think the top and bottom is how we definitely want to grow this. But we do want to place the crystal resonant generator on here. I just don't know which direction. Like, this will power it, but we actually want this powered from the bottom. So yeah, maybe we could do something like this. Perfect. And then we can power that from the bottom, leaving the top accessible. Yes, that is working. You can see it's glowing. Little particle effects are flashing off the side. And you now see that this is just passively growing these crystals, which is exactly what we want to see. Now in the quest, it also tells us that we can just simply right click these buds to drop them off. And notice I just got 8 from that. And if you don't have a pickaxe that has fortune on it, you should get 4 if you use a pickaxe. And if you use your right hand and do it, you should only get 2, which is what it actually says in the quest, which is kind of interesting. But we do have our fortune, which allows us to get significantly more from this operation. Oh, and I can also use the ore excavator on this as well. So yeah, if all of them are fully grown, we can just ore excavate them and also right click. Now, because of the map I'm on, I also have access to a blast furnace, which is going to make life a whole lot easier for me because this is going to smelt our components a lot quicker. We can toss it over here, grab some of our charcoal, and then before we do that, we can actually combine our shards and gain a block, and we can smelt an entire block at a time. So much faster. Like, this is the way to go right here. This also allows us to convert this back into regular raw ore form. So if we take this back out and convert it, we actually get the raw iron ore, which is just something that we can do, and we can compress that back down using Shift K or just K. Now, how do we go about getting the dyes for the other components? Well, this is going to involve trying to grow some flowers. And it really depends, I think, on what biome you're in as well. I mean, we should be able to get flowers growing, at least I would hope. Aha! I mean, right there's a pink one at least. Oh, and whenever we click on that, look at that. Now I've got all of the other flowers. So yes, we can bone mill all of these flowers, and we can actually hold crouch while holding these other ones. And you get a ton of different flowers. This is great. So I've gone and made myself a iron hoe, and this just makes this operation so much quicker. So now we have all of these dyes, but black dye is still one that we are going to need, and we can easily make black dye in this by using a cutting board, my beloved cutting board. And that is made by taking, not this in my off, man, by taking charcoal, and you place that on there, and I believe we just use a pick, and we right click. Beautiful. And that gives us black dye, which is a way that we can technically create a coal geode. So with that, let's start generating a few other materials. For example, we can do like redstone. Like redstone seems really powerful. There's also gold. So there's redstone, gold, which we definitely need. And I think on the top, I can do the coal for right now. So all of these are going to start generating, and we can start actually collecting those and converting them into the resources as well. And then what would be another one? Like a copper, maybe? I mean, we have tons of copper nearby. You know what? Because we have all of this copper laying around that I could just easily use for right now. Yeah, probably go with lapis. We can get that from a cornflower, and I'll just place this in the back, right? And there we go. So now we have lapis. I mean, this is basically the building blocks of like everything we need to get started with modded. And speaking of things that we can do with modded, I have all of this iron now, which means I can like upgrade my furnace. And this allows us to get started with the iron furnaces mod, which will significantly make this faster as well. It does consume a little bit more fuel, but we are now producing fuel. So yeah, not that big of a deal. And you know what? While I'm over here, maybe I can grab all of these copper blocks. That's definitely going to be a lot of copper. Oh my goodness. Now with all of these resources starting to build up, we're going to run into our first major storage problem. And there is a way that we can fix this. Well, we can just simply upgrade this container. Now that we have gold, we can go all the way up to the gold size storage with no problem whatsoever. Diamond, however, will be a little bit harder to get our hands on. So I think for now, just leveling this up to gold will be pretty good. So we can go from copper to iron and all the way up to gold. And it will significantly increase this single storage chest. Remember, this crafting table has 4 sides. 5 sides, technically. I don't know if it works from the bottom. Why does it do that? Oh my goodness. That is not what I wanted right then. Anyways, I don't know if it works from the top or the bottom, but I mean, it at least has 4 sides that we should be able to access here. That creeper event, that's the second time it's gotten me, and it's going to give me a heart attack. And I know it got you guys too, because I read the comments from the last episode. Yeah. Woo! I'm wiping the sweat off my brow. Now back to fixing storage problems. These storage problems are going to be quite difficult. And honestly, this is kind of jank as of right now. I mean, you can see that the items kind of scroll out. And I would really love to get into a better system to do this. And there is a couple of options that we could get into very quickly, I think. Create, though, has one of the quickest, I think, ways of getting started early on and being able to get a storage interface. Yeah, that's right. Create has a storage interface option, but that'll be a video for another day because right now I just want to get this one chest upgraded. Now, thankfully, sophisticated storage has made this process really easy. We can just go straight from copper right to gold, even skipping iron. And we do this by simply right-clicking on here, and look how much storage we just gained. I mean, it's almost double the size that it was. I now have a temporary fix on the storage, but there's some other problems that I have. When I'm collecting these geore drops, they are just kind of spitting everywhere, and I would really like to make a magnet. And let's see, we are on a skyblock, so yeah, magnets shouldn't be too bad. And look at that. I'm glad I went with lapis because, yeah, as you can see, lapis is something that is definitely generates and we need. Let's make ourselves our first major magnet, which is going to be so helpful because this magnet has the ability to be toggled on and off. With the plus key, which is what I like to assign it to, it makes it super easy. You can just use the plus on your numpad if you have one. Just set it to that key in the keybind settings to toggle it on and off. That way you don't accidentally use it when you don't want to use it, and you can use it when you need it, which is going to be super helpful here because it just goes right into my inventory now. Now, let's of course not forget the other paths. If we look in the quest, we also have the path of cultivation, and we also have the path of prospecting, which is the old ways, and is not this. Yeah, again, Alfred. Oh no. But yes, we could go ahead, for example, and make like a very early, like we didn't already have iron. We could use this with some andesite to make this weird andesite amalgam block. And whenever you break it, there's a chance that you'll also get andesite alloy, which is kind of an interesting way of getting andesite alloy. Yeah, I mean, not too bad, actually. Like, I could see that being a really interesting way to infinitely generate andesite alloy, right? With some sort of automation, like these produce infinite amounts of andesite, and we could definitely do that as a task for future Chosen, however, because we could also fish. Fishing is a little bit more boring. It would be a lot quicker if we had that advanced rod that with all those enchants on it, but we should be able to fish here, and there's a chance that we could even get diamonds. You just have to land the fishing rod section correctly. The little mini game, you have to right click right when it's in the yellow, but there it goes. So if you're really good at this, I mean, this is going to work out good for you, but this is actually a great way to get cow essence really early on. And that allows you to make leather, make 6 leather actually, as soon as you have just 3 of those. So fishing, still pretty decent, I think. Getting this done early on, getting it out of the way, getting yourself some leather. I mean, as soon as we have leather, you know what that means, right? We can make a backpack. And I mean, to be fair, this little fishing mini game is not too bad, right? And the fact that we can actually get ourselves diamonds from this potentially, I mean, that's really powerful. Oh, and we get Enderman essence from this. This is a quick and easy way to get Ender pearls. Oh yeah, I'm going to be fishing for a little bit longer here. Boy, I wish I had some friends to fish with. So yeah, this would be way more fun on a multiplayer server with friends doing the fishing. Yeah, that would be much nicer. I mean, I can't forget the quantum goat because this thing also drops things. Like, they just dropped a greater experience gem. You can just drop random stuff. I don't fully know what's all in its drop pool. Now, I tell you what, after fishing for just a little bit, I mean, we ended up with a ton of essence. And even if you're not using this as your primary method, I mean, it's a great way to get ender pearls, it looks like. Definitely early on getting access to some leather. I mean, also we got zinc from this as well. So we have a little bit of a head start with some zinc. I mean, and yeah, we can make crimsite and all kinds of other different materials. We have fish essence for making fish. We can even make nautilus shells, I believe, already. It's a lot. Even managed to get myself some ink sacs from that. With all of this, I am now oh so closer to exploration and actually getting that up and running. So with the essence, we can make the leather, and that means we can make a backpack. Oh, and boy, do things get really nice after getting the backpack. I don't know if it gives us an upgrade. I should probably check the quest. Okay, so we just get coins, which is perfectly fine. But we can immediately upgrade our backpack. So let's do that. Upgrade it to iron. And then we can upgrade it even further. Oh, I should also check the storage quest. Yes, because we do get upgrades here. Oh, and we end up getting a basic 2 gold. That's not bad. Just want to check all of the quests. Oh, and we get some dye essence too. So we can like pick the dye color for our bag. Very, very nice. And then I just want to upgrade it one more time. Like, we don't have diamond just yet, but upgrading this backpack to gold means we get a huge, huge amount of space. Then I'll take this, put it in the curio slot for the back, and then B will be the hotkey that allows me to open up my backpack. And boy, do I miss having a backpack after the last series that I've been working on with only Create mod. We haven't had backpacks. It's been an adventure, I'll say the least. What a struggle that has been, but you know what? I've managed. I've definitely managed to get through all of that with minimal issue, actually. Now, we did get this dye essence, and you know what? I think the best dye to use it on is green, because we don't actually get a great way to make green without needing to process it and everything. But we can farm these other flowers, and this actually allows us to kind of duplicate our dye by using this flower. And we get this flower by just simply shifting in an area full of flowers. So if I need any more of the green dye, I'm able to just use the other flower. This also has some really interesting properties as well. It looks like it can also generate like sunflowers and possibly others. Like, this seems really nice. And it looks like occultism has really updated. Like, I don't remember this existing. There's like even some transmutation stuff that's now happening. What is this? Either way, I'm going to use this to dye our backpack, including the straps, all cyan. Look at that. So now we've done geores, we've also done fishing, and we've gathered a little bit of essence, but now we need to get into a little bit of create. And this is exactly what it is. Like, we're going to be diving just a little bit into create, but create is so powerful, and it's going to be really powerful in this as well. And I'm thinking about converting this area right here into like a smelting zone, because there really is no trees nearby. This could be a really good place to, for example, have some fans that are blowing, but we also need a mill, and we need somewhere to mill our products. I think this area could be great for that. Now, this does mean quite a bit of andesite alloy, so 32 andesite alloy for right now. That's going to get us by for a little bit. Oh yeah, and remember that hopper that we got given for basically free? Yeah, we can actually use this on a cutting board as well, and this will also help us, because if we place the logs in here, we can use an axe and just simply right click, and the hopper will auto refill the logs back in here. I mean, it's pretty quick. Allows us to strip the logs really fast. This is going to allow us to make casings. And also, if we go into the quest line for create, we get given a wrench for free. This is very, very handy too. And talk about getting started really early. We can make 32 casings in no time. I do have a recommended method for this, and that is to just simply build up a pillar. And then what we're going to do is we will put the wrench in our offhand, and then we'll end up having our andesite in the main hand. And we just hold down shift and we right click. And if you're afraid of heights, I am sorry. Because this is something that makes it really, really quick to generate this. I mean, you just go straight down. Like, how quick is that? Oh, and if you think you're running out of andesite, don't forget that you can also use the diorite. So we have diorite, or should have diorite somewhere laying around. You can combine diorite with cobblestone, and that will give you even more andesite. Now the quests are going to make getting started with create even easier, as it's going to give you just a little bit of a kick with those extra bonus items, but honestly, water wheel going to be very, very easy to get started. I'm thinking a nice place for these water wheels are going to be right over here. And so, yes, they do require a little bit of space in order to work, but we just got to get water really flowing on them. I mean, it's super simple stress. Now, a quick little tip if you didn't actually know this already, these water wheels, well, they'll actually hold the water in place. So all you have to do is just place it on the top and they'll flow straight down. But there's another little tip that you may not know as well. And that is that you can basically double the rotational speed of this by just simply putting a smaller water wheel on the end and then giving this the same rotation direction. And notice this speeds up twice. I mean, it's almost twice the speed, I do believe, saving you an entire gear ratio. And speaking of gear ratioing, I'm actually going to place a gearbox on here and let's go ahead and start this. So we go small, or we go large cog. Then we need to go off to a small cog. Then we go large cog again. And we want to use an andesite casing on this block right here. And then just rinse and repeat that same pattern. And every time we do this, it's going to get faster and faster. And all of this right here, doing the same pattern over and over again until you get that rotational speed all the way up to max. We need that rotational speed for our sifter because there is a few things that we're probably going to want to sift. Otherwise, we're not really going to be able to get those resources. So this is definitely going to be required. But this also does require a mesh. And everything starts from the basic cloth mesh and continues to move up to like an iron mesh, for example, and so on and so forth. And once we get this done, look at that. We get like a hand crank, we get a few funnels, and we also get ourselves some belts. Very nice. Now with our rotation speed, we need to place a gearbox on here to change its direction and then place the sifter directly on top. It also looks like the sifter can be done from the bottom. However, I think I'm fine doing it from the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Because that just leads to a little bit more complexity in my opinion. Now there is another trick we can use, and that is to make iron sheets a whole lot quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and make the forge. This is from the modern industrialization, however, but believe me, it's going to be so worth it using this forge early on. And that's because this forge has the ability for us to turn iron immediately into sheets. So yes, we can just completely convert them. Like, it's so nice to be able to do that. And then we can use this to make chutes from the create mod. So we just need to make chutes. We get 4 of them, and the chutes are just a nice hopper. And we can place that right on the bottom. And if I crawl along the top here, hoping I don't get pinched, we can set that chute up here as well and maybe place a barrel or something on the bottom and top. And you know what? I think like a chest might be better because it holds significantly more. We can always upgrade it later on. But yeah, for both of them, we'll do like a chest here and a chest here, and we can put our resources that we want sifted in here. We have the sifter, and then that gets sifted down. And then inside of this, we just simply put the mesh in and it's ready to go. Now, after grabbing a few more iron plates, I do want to use this to make some fans. And I think going for like 3 will be great for right now. So we'll have 3 separate fans and we can create ourselves a little fan setup right here. So I think the fans can go right here. We're going to have the block source right here. That's going to have a pressure plate. Then it will get dropped, and right here will be the inventories that they'll go into. Now this setup, I have to say, is 100% worth doing because it is by far probably one of the fastest ways of smelting items and stuff early game. So we just need to place a water wheel like a regular one right here. And thankfully the speed doesn't really matter, but we can use these encased chain drives to get this all spinning in one direction. We place this down, and then I have to see if this is going the correct way or not. But there we go, wind maker, and just to kind of see, yes, you can now see these fans are spinning the correct way. Like I said, the speed really doesn't matter. It's going to blow at the default rate. It's going to blow a few blocks, which is all we really need. And then in front of these, we'll go ahead and place some trapdoors. This is just going to contain like the water that's going to go here and the lava that'll go over here. And so to finish this project up, we'll have some barrels that go here, and then directly on top of the trapdoors is where we're going to place the chutes. And then on top of those will be the barrels where we put our resources. And this is very simple. On the back where we have the chute here, this is where we are going to have our funnels. But the funnels will actually collect the resources. So instead of it collecting the resources like this, what we can do for now until we have brass funnels is we can just have them rotated in like this. And so that way they can complete their operation, and then we just do this to have the item sent directly into the barrel. It up and running. Let's test this bad boy. So I have some of the redstone shards. We just place this in, and we need to make sure this is facing outward for now. Like when we have the brass, it'll be all filtered and we don't have to worry about it. It'll just literally generate. But yeah, we wait. We see the black smoke like kind of billowing up, and as soon as the black smoke is done billowing up, like we know it's done, and then we can just send it in. And look at that. And that was, you just seen how fast that was. Like, you can't tell me that we can do this faster this early. And I mean, if we're already getting this set up, we might as well also get a mixer set up so that way we can make andesite alloy a little bit cheaper. And with this setup, we should just be able to place it right down here. We already have access for the mixer right on the top. And perfect. I mean, this whole thing allows us to fit and work perfectly. And I mean, all we really need now to make this whole operation really, really good is some brass, but that is going to have to wait for another episode. And honestly, just to kind of make you feel a little bit better, you don't have to use Create's method for generating brass in this pack. There are many other ways. And so that is something we're going to work on next episode. But hopefully you enjoyed this resource generating episode, where we now have access to all kinds of resources, and we're able to really start to dive into more of the mods, which is kind of what I just want to do, right? I want to explore some of these new features and new mods. That's the fun of packs like these. And so if you did enjoy today's episode, of course, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and well, give this video a huge thumbs up because we have a lot more to do in the future. Also, join the Discord, discord.gg/ChosenArchitect. You can find it linked down in the description below. I have an amazing community over there. And also, while you're down there, check out my Twitch at twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. Quick links, like I said, in the description if that's something you want to try and also give a follow to. And I do also have an X account, Twitter account, whatever you want to call it as well. And I like to post kind of spoilers over there from time to time. So guys, if that's something you're interested in, be sure to follow me over there. I thank you so very much. And without further ado, it's time to thank, as well, the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that huge thanks is going to go out to Not Baby Red. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. And of course, going above and beyond with it. You absolute boss. Guys, getting world download access, server access, all kinds of other fun stuff. So definitely check that Discord out. You don't want to miss out. And guys, I thank you as well. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.